guys, I am glad to have you back, and good morning to you. It is Sunday morning and we are in the survival shed, and we got our coffee going right now, so I'm gonna get a sip real quick and I'm gonna get on with the show. So we are doing a little video this morning on military surplus Arctic and cold weather canteen systems. And this one here is super rare, but we're going to talk about them, talk a little bit about the history and the uses of them, and my experience with the Arctic canteen and some modifications I did with this one here. And so yeah, hope you guys are doing great. I'm going to bring you guys down here to the table and we're going to get some hand action going on with the canteens. So I'll see you guys here in a minute. So here we have the military surplus Arctic canteen, and you guys have seen this in my videos. I've used this quite a few times. Not this particular one, but this one right here, which I spray painted white for snow camo. I thought it turned out pretty good. But I got two of these here I've used. But this one here is particularly special because it has a gas mask canteen cap on it, which is not typical with Arctic canteens. I did a video on this. I'll put a link up on the screen for this video here. But these are made to also go on the Arctic canteens. It's a adapter kit. It's called the M1 canteen cap adapter kit for an insulated canteen. And these are pretty old, but I did a video on this. I'll put a link in the screen for it. I replaced the cap. So we're going to talk a little bit about the Arctic canteen with as much knowledge as I have with them and the history of it. But before we get there, I want to show you the original cap to these. Now, I don't know if I can get it here on camera. Probably not. But if you see the crack right there, I think it has one there. I used to think these were broken. I thought that these were broken because all of my all of these have they all have cracks in them. See, that one does too, right there a little bit. But that's not true. From what I've read online is that when these are formed, this is how they come out of the factory. They come cracked. It's something to do with the pressure. And I believe it because I've had absolutely no leaks with these on the canteen itself. So that was definitely a good thing to learn because I thought I had broken caps. Moving on with the Arctic canteen, I believe it was developed late 50s, early 60s. I found online one of these canvas Arctic canteen pouches was dated 1952, and these are only made for the Arctic canteen. So possibly it was just that's when it was being tested. It was in the early 50s, and then come out to the early 60s. But this one's dated 1984. I've used these a few times. I did a freeze test with them as well. I'll put a link in the description of that video. And they both performed pretty well. The first freeze test I did, it did not freeze, but just got a little ice inside of it. But I was still able to pour it out and get water out of it. The second time I did it, it did freeze on me, which was kind of odd. I'm still going to continue to test with them. It's pretty typical to your just your basic popular round canteens. You see these all used years ago, decades ago. So it's got that kind of design to it, but it's a double-walled canteen. So with these here, you can't, you know, if it freezes up, you can't just put it in a fire and warm it up and melt the water in it because they're double-walled, so that will not work. Now, these have two different steels in them, I believe. From what I've read, I've heard two different things. So many different people out there will comment, say, no, it has this, and their person will say, no, it has this. So I believe it has aluminum and steel, and I think aluminum's on the outside, and for the double wall effect on the inside to give that double wall vacuum seal is stainless steel or steel, but I'm not totally for sure. But either way, these are great. You just gotta keep them in your pocket in your jacket to keep them warm. But they, like I said, I did a freeze test, and they will go for they will not freeze. I've had them sit over 6-7 hours, and they stayed fairly thawed out. It just had a little bit of icicles inside of it, or ice. Great canteen. I like them. I've used them. Now, these were used during the Vietnam War as well. They were used up through the 80s, up through the 90s, and I believe they phased these out, from what I've read, like in the late 90s to early thousands. Now, the next canteen we're going to go on to, its original purpose was to replace this. However, that wasn't quite so, but we're not there yet. We'll get there here in a minute. I know you guys are probably so familiar with this, so this is the canteen cup it comes with. I just want to talk a little bit about this for a minute. I want to get to my negatives about this right here. It's a great cup. You can put a lot of water in there for the most part for survival situations. You're just trying to cook some coffee or tea or whatnot. But the biggest problem I've had with these canteen cups versus like the regular U.S. military ones for the 1-quart canteens is that this right here, this little lever here, which is what you snap to lock it in. Well, you gotta snap it in like this, and then it goes behind these 2 bars here. This one I can't even do with my bare hands. This one's brand new. I've never even used it. However, in my experiences of using these, this is not a very good design. And the reason I say it because, you know, these are cold weather Arctic canteens. And so you'd have to take your gloves off just to even get that to slide down. You might be able to get it with your gloves on, but it's going to be a pain in the butt to do it. Won't be very easy to do. That was a really bad design. And that's just my opinion on it. But, I mean, other than that, when you set it down, it stays. I do like that. I think it's more stable than your regular U.S. military one for the 1-quart canteen. I do like that of it. It's solid. But that is the negatives and the pros to this. It's solid setting it down, but the trying to snap that in is just, I just don't care for it. Okay, moving on. This right here took me some years to get a hold of. This, of course, you guys have probably seen them. These are the cold weather canteens, and or canteen. And I really wanted one of these, but these things are outrageously priced. Now this here, you know, I was saying earlier, this canteen itself, it was supposed to replace this. However, not quite so. From what I've read online, these right here were, I think it was 17,000 were only developed. And we're going to go over a little bit of the history of this one here. As much as I know, as much as I could find online. But that is the canteen itself. It is different than the Arctic canteen. The Arctic canteen is double-walled. This is single-walled. And it's stainless steel. Totally different design than the Arctic canteen as well. And then the bag itself is like a nylon. It's got a little bit of insulation in it in the back of it here. And it says, fill the canteen to the fill mark, stand from the canteen. Do not fill the canteen over the fill mark, as overfilling will damage the canteen. Remove all plastic parts before thawing the canteen over an open fire. You see, that was the idea behind this new design here, is that if your water was to freeze in here, and you could set it on your stove or set it on a campfire, which more or less would probably be a stove and the military would have been using. But either way, that would help you thaw out your water if it freezes in here, which it probably would. Whereas you couldn't do it with the Arctic canteen because it's double walled. Okay, we're going to get on to the history of this here in a minute and some prototypes of this canteen. But I want to continue to go on with this real quick. Here is the canteen cup itself. And mine's got a couple dents. You're usually not going to find these in prestige condition. If you do, it's every so now and then on eBay. But for the most part, they're going to have some kind of wear to them from all I've seen online. But this doesn't take away the functionality of this canteen cup. Now, I really like this canteen cup. I really like this one compared to this one. It's a lot easier to use. And I don't know exact dimensions, but it does look like it might hold about the same or more. This is a little wider. at the top. But yeah, but still really good set of stability. When you set them down, they stay. And this here is stainless steel. And this here is aluminum. I forgot to mention that to you. This one here is aluminum. This one is dated 1993. See it right there. The canteen itself is 2001. It's basically got the same cap as my other Arctic canteen, the NBC cap. That comes off as well. So you definitely want to take this off to heat it if you have to heat it over a fire. A 1-2 quart cold weather canteen was developed to replace the vacuum insulated cold weather canteen in 1988. It had a 0.5 liter cup that also nested around the canteen. The canteen specification was MIL-C-44348. It had an oversized opening to allow a soldier to break up ice with a bayonet. The oversized opening required an adapter kit to fit the standard NBC cap. Although this item was approved for fielding, it was delayed for years when the manufacturing contractor had difficulty welding the traverse seam across the body of the canteen. The seam location for the weld was re-engineered and removed to the top edge of the canteen. Second contract was awarded and 17,000 items were produced and fielded to soldiers in Alaska. Okay, with that said, I'm going to show you the original design to this canteen. And if I can get it here on my phone, it took me some digging and some research to find one of these. But I just read about the weld across the seam. That is the weld they're talking about that I just read you. But you can see the canteen itself there. It actually looks even smaller than that canteen. And the cap's just a little bit different too. Makes it just have a lid on it. But there's that seam. I don't know why they were welding a seam there. I don't know why I'd make it one piece if you could, but I don't know. I don't make canteens, so I have no idea. But I found these pictures online. This is the original design. Here's some more pictures of it with its canteen carrier. Now this I thought was awesome. Now if you ask me, this is going to be the holy grail of cold weather canteen finds, if you could ever find one of these. Let's see, but right here is the canteen carrier. And it's like a thick insulated plastic container or something. I'm not sure what it's made out of. There's another picture of it there. What's different with this canteen cup than this canteen cup in the cold weather canteen is that it uses the regular 1 quart canteen cup. There it is. Here's a better picture of it. There's with its cover on, the canteen carrier. Man, that would be really cool to get one of those. But so right here, out of Popular Mechanics magazine from 1986, December, you have the testing of the new gear the soldiers were using in the mid-80s. Testing it out, actually. They weren't exactly using it yet. But here you have the LV88, which is now called the LV88, but it was originally has the CFP 90 patrol pack connected to it, which we're doing something over there for cold weather survival rig, but that will be soon. But if you look real closely, right here, whoop, right there on his pistol belt, you see that exact same cold weather canteen carrier that we were just looking at. And so that's definitely when they were testing this out. And this is from 1986, so pretty cool stuff, guys. Mid-80s, they had all kinds of crazy inventions during those times. So that is the very experimental cold weather canteen. So long story short, the information I have is that this was supposed to replace the Arctic Canteen. Never did, because like I said, they started phasing out the Arctic Canteen late 90s, early 1000s. And I think these are only made up to the early 1000s, from the probably from the late 80s to early 1000s. But most of the ones you can find, I think it's the bag here itself is dated from 93, or the canteen cups dated 93. And the canteens themselves are dated early thousands. But you never know. Just keep your eye out if you ever want one. Dun 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 dun. Okay. So you guys are probably like, what the heck is this thing? I was too when I first saw it. And I came across this on eBay. I think I paid under 20 bucks for it, or at 20. And I did a lot of researching for this, and this was probably the hardest thing to find any information on. And I will tell you, there is not a whole lot of information on this thing. But this right here is called the, it's made by Camelback. This is the canteen cover itself. And it's a cold weather canteen carrier pouch. And it's cool. It's got like the fuel line. You see like on fuel lines or plastic for the zipper. So it's real heavy duty. Excellent for being able to grab if you have gloves on. However, get it unzipped there. There's no canteen in there. We'll get to that here in a minute. But this is another military cold weather canteen system. And I'll just get it right here. It says carrier cold weather canteen. Then it's got your NSN numbers, and it's got Camelback right there. But this thing, man, when I bought this and it came in the mail, I mean, that is very, very heavy duty insulation for this thing versus the cold weather canteen pouch. Very, very heavy duty. And from what I could find online with this canteen system, it just used the regular 1-quart U.S. military canteen cups, just like the original cold weather canteen was originally using before it got its contract shut down. And I do not have the canteen to this system here. But this is the pouch, and this is the OCP Scorpion camouflage. So this is fairly new. I don't know the exact date to this, but it is definitely fairly new. You just got your Molly Pals webbing on the back there. So, developed for use with the Ability One Produce 1-quart Arctic Canteen and Canteen Cup, the new Arctic Canteen Parka from Camelback is an issue item. It is Molly compatible and will keep water in liquid form for up to 10 hours and temperatures down to -60 Fahrenheit. Although not the intended use, it will also keep water cool for up to 4 hours and temperatures up to 95 degrees. So that is really basically the only information I could find about its functionality, how this system's supposed to work. So it is definitely intended for cold weather, as it said, but not really so much hot weather, but it will work. But I don't see this keeping your water warm to -60 Fahrenheit. I just don't see it happening, but I could be completely wrong. Now, the canteen itself. We're going to move on to that next. So I had found some pictures online, and here it is in a coyote brown color as well. But here is the canteen. Check this out. This is what blew my mind. It's a USGI 1-quart canteen with a wide mouth canteen lid. The Skillcraft hydration systems, or Camelback hydration systems that make for the military, the exact same cap, just on a U.S. military canteen, 1-quart canteen. And this is what I do not have. I do not have this. The regular U.S. military canteen fits in that, but I don't have the wide mouth one. Now that just blew my mind when I came across that. Now that right there, my friends, I think would be extremely rare to come across, and especially this one too. There's nothing online right now. Here's some other pictures of it I found. A little different view. But yeah, isn't that crazy looking? It's a U.S. military canteen with a wide mouth cap on it. It's just really cool. There's another one with the cap off. Now I found this on, I think, Soldier Systems, but there it is with the lid. It says Skillcraft on it, which they make stuff for the military. But I found some information about this Ranger canteen, and it's kind of, there's different things about it. I'll put links in the description below on the cold weather canteen and this one here. But I was reading this here, and it's dated from May 28th, 2019. And it says, I created the Ranger canteen, but it's not a product for sale. If I get it back up and running, I'll contact the Bushcraft administration, which is what I'm reading off of, and see about promoting the product. I have a separate company that takes up most of my time, so the side project had to be put on hold. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thanks for the honest feedback, everyone. So, it's called Ranger Canteen, is what the person's claiming it's called. I have no idea how true that is. Like I said, it's just really hard finding information on this. I also found information about this being made by Ability One, which is another military contractor or federal agency. It's an agency that trains and employs blind and severely challenged people in manufacturing innocent and USGI items, including those branded Skillcraft. So Skillcraft and Ability One must be pretty much the same company. But, yeah, that's about all the information I could find on it. The name of the canteen would be Ranger Canteen. But, yeah, that's it. That's all I could find. So this one is still kind of a mystery. Maybe one of these days I will come across that canteen and we'll finish the review on this. But, for now, I can just use a regular canteen in it. So there you go. The Holy Grail of canteens right here. So if you have any questions or if you want to leave some comments, of course, I very much appreciate it. I'm still learning about these things here. I love digging information out about military surplus items and learning about them, their uses. But yeah, pretty cool stuff. So leave your comments below. Let me know what you thought. If you have any questions, leave them below as well. And that concludes the cold weather canteen Arctic video for the day, for this morning. So cold weather is upon us. So I'm excited, guys, and I hope you guys are too, because we're gonna be some cold weather campouts and videos this winter. I'm trying to stay in fall because fall is just started, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. All right, guys, I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you enjoyed the video. God bless you, and I will talk to you guys later. Take care. Bye.